Hello, Chichil.
Hello, Amrita.
So I have another data sufficiency question from official guide. Okay.
Okay.
So this question goes like this. Again, you have a very uh, complex question stem. So let's kind of analyze it first. So it says
Okay.
that, yeah, so beginning in January of last year, there is a person, Carl, and he makes deposits on 15th of each month. Okay, so
Okay.
beginning
Okay.
January. So 15th of, let's say, Jan, and then 15th of Feb. Okay, so these are the dates usually he makes some transaction. So March, April, and so on. All right. So what he does, he makes a deposit of $120 from January onwards on 15th
Mm,
of every month for several
mm,
consecutive months. We don't know up to what month he makes those deposits. But what
mm.
happens, suddenly from somewhere in between he starts withdrawing $50 from the account again on the 15th of each of the remaining month. So somewhere in between,
Okay.
instead of depositing, he starts withdrawing $50. So he takes out $50 on 15th of some month, and then he keeps doing that up to December. Does it make sense? So now,
It does. It does.
okay, now there were no other transactions in the account last year. Only the deposits of $120, 15th of each month, and then withdrawal of $50 from some month onwards in between, and then he keeps withdrawing 15th of on 15th of each month $50. All right, and these are the only transactions that were performed
Okay.
that year. So if the closing balance of Carl's account for May of last year was 2,600, so you're given that the closing balance, that is the end of May, he would have performed some transaction on 15th of May, right? But its closing balance is $2,600. So we know that at the end of May, he had $2,600 in his account. That is given. What was the range of the
Mm.
monthly closing balances of Car's account last year? So you have to find the range. How do you find the range? Range of monthly closing balance. So that will be maximum minus minimum. So whenever he had the maximum
Okay.
amount,
Mm.
whichever month he had the maximum
Okay.
amount,
Okay.
maximum closing balance in that month minus
Mm, mm.
minimum closing balance in that month. So that will give you the range, the required range. And this is what is asked in the question. What is
Okay.
that range of monthly closing balances of Carl's account last year?
Okay.
Okay, so does it make
Okay.
sense to you? Is this clear?
Mm.
No doubts in the question part?
One clarification, Amrita. One clarification. You are referring to maximum monthly amount, not daily amount, right?
Monthly closing amount, yes. Maximum closing
Correct. Correct.
amount in a
Correct. Then
month.
it's clear.
Okay. All right.
Clear.
So now we know
Clear.
that the closing balance in the month of May is 2,600. Okay. Now let's move on to the
Mm,
statements.
mm.
Let's go to statement 1. And what statement 1 says, that last year the closing balance of Carl's account for April was less than 2625. Okay. So April's closing balance was less than 26. So this was less than 2625, 2625. And what we know, we already know that in May his closing balance
In
is
May.
2600. May's closing balance is 2600, but April's is this. So what do you think, what would have happened had he made a withdrawal from the closing balance on April?
Yes. There
Had
is a withdrawal.
there is a withdrawal, are you sure?
It looks like that, but one thing I don't understand, Amrita, there is like $50 is the withdrawal amount,
Right,
but I can't make meaning out of it.
exactly. So you see, let's say his this is less than 2625. For a minute, just assume Okay, I'm just asking you to assume that April's closing balance is equal to 2625. For a minute, if you assume that April's closing balance, so what do you think? If he had made a withdrawal, would he end up having 2600 in May? Then he should have
it is
even
possible.
lesser
It
than.
is possible, Amrita, because question says it is less than. Oh yeah, no, it's not possible.
It's less than Jijil. So I am considering the maximum possible amount. This is not even possible. This is less than that, but okay. Even if I consider it to be 2625, shouldn't it, May's amount should be less than 2625, which is not the case.
That's correct.
Right? So quite clearly, there hasn't been any withdrawal. So I am sure the another option is
right.
He deposited $120, right? So from this question, I can say that in the month of April, he actually deposited $120. Okay, he deposited, I mean, from April to May. So in May 15th, he actually deposited $120. So whatever may be the amount in X, I'm not bothered, right? Because this is data sufficiency question. This May's closing balance is X plus that 120. Makes sense? Yes?
Yes.
So now tell me, okay, so tell me, can you calculate the range even if you know that in April he deposited $120? Okay, can you find the range? We cannot find the range. Why?
We don't know what's the lowest.
Exactly, because we don't know.
Yeah, but it's,
we don't know up
Amrita,
to.
Can I say something, Amrita?
Sure.
If he has started in January and it is given for certain consecutive number of months, if he has deposited 100, 120, Amrita, if in May it is 2,600, and if we know there have only been depositing from his side, can we not keep subtract it and figure out what was the original
That's
amount?
what I'm saying. We don't know in which month he started withdrawing the amount. We know for sure that January he deposited, and after some month he started withdrawing. So first he deposited from January. So from this statement we know that he deposited up to May. Okay, that we know, but we don't know till what month he deposited and what month exactly he started withdrawing the amount. That is not known.
Okay. Now I understand.
Understood.
Now I understand. Question is not the range up to May. It's across the year.
It is across the year, right? So that's the reason the statement is insufficient, because we don't know to what extent he deposited. Okay, and when he actually started withdrawing the amount. That's the reason this is not enough. Now let's go to the statement 2 and consider it alone. Okay, so this says that last year the closing balance of Carl's account for June was less than this. So we already know the closing balance in May, which is 2,600, but in June it is less than, this is less than 2,675. Now this gives you a different picture. What is that?
It means there is no more addition. There is no more incoming amount coming.
Exactly. It means he is actually withdrawing. He has started withdrawing. Can't say he has started, but he is actually withdrawing from May to June. Okay. So since he is withdrawing, had he been depositing, the June's balance would have been 2,720. But since he is withdrawing, that's the reason this amount is less. So this amount is definitely has to be 2,550. Alright. So now we know that this is withdrawing. Now don't consider the information that we got in statement 1, because we are not considering as of now. We are just considering the statement given in the statement 2. Alright. So again, we don't know till what time he deposited and when he actually started withdrawing, even using statement 2 alone, right? We don't know till what month he deposited and when he actually started withdrawing. So for the same reason as statement 1, this statement alone is insufficient. Okay. Now you see, this is like a pieces of puzzle. Now when you take both the statement together, the entire picture will be clear, isn't it? So now when you take both the statements together, when you consider them together, so from statement 1, we know that from April till May, he actually deposited 120, but from May to June, he actually started withdrawing this amount, isn't it? So we know, right, up to May he did this, deposited, and then from May to December he withdrew. So I think now it's possible to calculate range. Maximum minus minimum, we'll get the maximum and we'll get the minimum in December. Okay. So we don't really need to calculate.
Maximum will happen at end of May.
Right. So together they are sufficient, and the option that you are going to mark is the third option, which is C. I hope this helped.
C.
Yeah.
It's clear, Amrita. Thank you.
Thank you.